What do we think? Wolverine match? This is the best bit of the whole thing. This is motivation right here. So, I'm about a month back into my proper training. And I suppose it's going okay. It's always tough when you're just getting back into it. My old motto for hero personal training is a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step. And that's true. Personally, I seem to always end up being back making that first step. I've been going through phases this last many years of starting, stopping, starting, stopping. And that's okay. I think that's normal for a lot of people. You know, life happens, life gets in the way. You just got to pick yourself up, get back into it, and take that first step again. The thing is, when you do, it's hard. Obviously, that's the saying. It's the hardest step is the first step. But when you do take it, suddenly you find yourself a week in, 2 weeks in, a month in. That time just disappears like that, and you can look back and say, wow, look at the progress I've made. That's pretty good. Even if you still know you've got a long way to go, like I do now. I do know I've got a long way to go. But the thing is, I've started again, and looking back on the last month, looking at how I've improved. Like today, I know I've improved. I've done a few things today that I've been aiming for, a few little successes, and that's what it's all about. You got to look back on these little things and cherish them and know they're important and not forget them and build on them and keep going. An old philosophy of mine is life and progress and where you are is like a spiral. You're never on an equilibrium, are you? You know this old graph thing where your waves, right, up and down. In finance, I think we call it Elliott waves. The same thing applies to most things, you know. But I like to think of life as being like a spiral. You're never at that one point of equilibrium. You know, you either progress or you fall back. You're either going up or you're going down. And one of my little philosophies is the more you do, the better you feel, and the better you feel, the more you do. too. So you can go up, you can spiral up and you can feel better. But the same thing works back down the other way. The less you do, the worse you feel. So the worse you feel, the less you do. And you can go down and down and down. Now, at any one point, you can change and go the other way. So you have to recognize if you're at the top and something happens, life happens, something kicks you down or kicks you to your knees and you're already up here. Fair enough, you suddenly stop doing the things that make you progress and you start going the other way, but you're still up here. You still got all that groundwork you've built upon. So it's not the end of the world, you can still turn things around and go back. At the other end of the scale, maybe you've been on a downward spiral for years and years and years. When you turn to go back up, you have to recognize that there's a long road ahead of you. You know, you don't just turn and suddenly find yourself up here. You have to realize that when you turn and start doing those things, those positive things that make you feel better, that make you progress, you've still got a long ways to go. And that becomes easier when you recognize the fact and you know you've got a long way to go. And you can tick off those little milestones as you progress, little notches on the way up. Every lap you can reflect and see yourself progressing up and up and up. That's important for the days when you trip up, when you suddenly find yourself in old habits going back down. You can self-reflect and say, okay, I might have slipped and I might be going back down, but I'm so much better than I was before. I've made all that progress. That makes it easier to switch it back on and start going back up, you know? So that's kind of where I am at the minute. I'm a month back into my training. I know I've got a long way to go, but I've got a month of training under my belt now, and I'm going to keep going, and so should you. After you start, if you haven't started, start. It's the hardest step. First step is always the hardest step. That's not telling you anything you don't know. That's not telling you anything new. Just do it. Get a week in, then get 2 weeks in, and then get 3 weeks in, then it's a month. Then look back and see how much you've progressed. And bank that. Don't forget it. Don't forget where you've come from. Okay? That's the most important thing. And you'll get where you want to go. And share. Tell people. Share. Let people know how you're doing. I've always been quite reserved in sharing that kind of thing, but now I'm not. Now I'm sharing it with you because it's a self-help thing. I want to share my progress to make it easier to progress for me. That might not work for you, but I'm at that point in my life where I'm experimenting, and I think that'll help me, and it might help you. That's the other reason I'm doing it, is to help you, because that's what I want to do. I want to help you. I want to help people. I want to help the world. Just like Claus, journey 1,000 miles begins with one single step. Get off your ass and make that single step. And like, subscribe, come with me, and let's see where this all goes. Love you peeps. See you later.